Exeter, also known as Exodus, or Backmask, or The Asylum, is a horror film directed by Marcus Nispel and is written by Kirsten and McCallion and stars Stephen Lang, Brittany Curran and Dier. For the purpose of this review, we're going to refer to this film as Exeter, as that seems to be the most common title, even though when I saw the film, it was titled Exodus. Marcus Nispel, the director of this film, is also the director of the remakes of The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th. This film suffers from two problems that those films suffer from, and a lot of modern horror films suffer from. Annoying characters that you just want to see die, and really annoying jump scares. In this film, even though they use it ironically, they used the cat jump scare. As in, the character's walking through a silent corridor or an enclosed space, and a cat jumps out and scares them. And yes, they use it ironically, but it's so infuriating! There was only one proper use of a jump scare in this film. The rest were just stupid characters jumping out and an annoying music sting. But the two main factors to why I didn't like this film was the plot and the tone. Let me get to the plot first. This film's plot starts out with possession, but then just keeps pulling stuff out of nowhere. This film changes plots about 6 times, like it takes a new turn, as in trying to keep your interest. For me, it made me lose interest because I saw where it was going about 40 minutes into the film, and then I just didn't care anymore. It seems like the writer had an idea for where the plot wanted to go, but didn't know how to get there without seeming too obvious, so just threw in random plot points. The writing, in general, is not very good in this film. The characters' dialogue all appears to be really bad improv, or is just downright horrible. Several lines in this film made me physically cringe in just embarrassment for the actors who had to say these lines. And also, the actors do a good job, with the exception of a couple forced performances and just giving up near the end of the film. Most of the actors did a good job, but the writing in this film is just awful, as evidenced by the dialogue and just how many twists and turns out of nowhere that this film pulls out. Also, the first 12 minutes of this film are just exposition. It opens with the suicide of somebody, which really gets your interest, and you're sort of, oh my god, where's this film going? And then it's about 3 minutes of documentary footage, and then another 10 minutes of just characters explaining things. The second thing that I did not like about this film was the lack of tone. When this film first started, I just thought it would be a normal modern horror movie with really annoying characters and just gore everywhere. But then it sort of started to have weird comedic bits. But the thing is, they're so spaced out into the film that I can't call this a horror comedy, because it only happens about 4 or 5 times throughout the entire film with 10-minute breaks between them. And any time it was comedic, it wasn't funny. But the film also wasn't scary. So I can't call it a good horror movie, but if it was trying to be a good horror comedy, it wasn't funny. This film fails in both departments. And while I was watching this film, I really hated it for that, but now that I've had a bit of time to think about it, it has sort of grown on me. I really appreciated the physical, gory comedy that this film had, and while I didn't laugh ever during the film, I did appreciate it. Because it wasn't overly disgusting or gory, and you could tell there was a lot of work on the effects. It really reminds me of The Evil Dead, sort of trying to imitate the original Evil Dead films, but not quite hitting the mark. And I did appreciate that, and that sort of has swayed me a little bit from not completely hating the film. And then I remembered 2 other things about this film. 1, the soundtrack and the sound design in this film are so bad. They do this thing where if someone's on their iPod or on their iPad, they will, when they're scrolling through it or zooming in, when you're actually using your iPod, there is no sound when you zoom in or scroll down, but in this film they add little sound effects like and then when they zoom in it's like and it's just, that never happens. Do they really think the audience is so stupid that they can't tell when someone is using their iPad? They have to add sound effects to it? And the soundtrack is just really bad metal. There's twice in the film where it's just a generic riff playing over scenes of characters walking, and it's just, it doesn't get you into the film at all. And that was a big deciding factor. But the main deciding factor for this film was the ending. Without spoiling anything, this is possibly one of the worst endings of a horror movie I've seen in a long time. And the reason I hate this ending so much is because I genuinely thought the film was going in a really cool direction. For about 75 minutes, I sat there just hoping this film would end soon. I had been thrown around so many corners and twists and turns that I was just fed up and wanted it to just reach a conclusion. But then, in about the last 10 minutes, it started heading in a really cool direction. Without spoiling anything, it sort of started going in like a cosmic horror element. The writing suddenly got a lot better and there was sort of a doomy feel to everything. And they really messed it up in the last about 3 minutes with one of the stupidest twists I've ever seen. I saw this coming 30 minutes in, but we'd been thrown around so often in different directions, and honestly, when it reached the final 10 minutes, I thought, oh my god, we've actually avoided this ending. But nope, they went for the ending. And I don't know if that's what they intended in sort of ironic way, like, oh look, we went for the sort of cheesy ending, because I don't know, I honestly don't know if this film was supposed to be a horror comedy. But they went for the really stupid ending. And the ending really swayed me into giving this film its final score, which is going to be a 4 out of 10. I really did appreciate the body horror in this film, and the direction and acting in this film are all extremely competent. It's just the writing, the dialogue, the characters, the fact that the film just jumps all over the place, and just how annoying that ending was. Also the soundtrack and sound design really bring this film down for me. In the end, this film is just a really messy and forgettable film with a lot of alternate titles. If you have any opinions that differ from mine on this film, then leave a comment in the comment section below. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more movie related videos and reviews, don't forget to click subscribe. See you soon.